for all of the building, we've been talking a lot about building teams in the NBA playoffs, how the Lakers were built this year and how much they're looking forward to, hey, next year with this group together that they put together at the trade deadline, right? We got Rui Hachimura, we got D'Angelo Russell. We will have more cohesiveness, right? We lost the Nuggets because they were more cohesive than we were. And with a year more of these guys playing together and Austin Reeves playing together, in theory, you would say we'll win more games. We'll take less pressure off of LeBron and AD. And that's why we feel really good about next year. And I get that. I understand that.
In theory.
That is also an archaic way that does not have any basis in reality in sports anymore. Every professional sport, you are on a year-to-year basis. You cannot sit here and say, well, our plan is working. No, because there's so many factors that come into play now that didn't when you could say, we're building and we expect to be title contenders the next 5 or 6 years. You don't know when players are going to stay healthy. You know when players are going to want out. Stars these days are more mercurial, and they may be done in a situation. You don't know how other teams are going to rise up around you, how the game is going to evolve, and maybe, hey, we're not as good this year as we were last year because the game's evolving to hitting more threes or whatever it's going to be, positionless NBA, and we're not quite that way. All of these things happen. And to sit here and say, we feel really great about our future, no, it's a year-to-year thing. What you do this year in the playoffs is not going to happen next year. This is why teams, when I hear we feel really good about where we are, okay, but guys, this is a complete missed opportunity. You were in the Western Conference Finals, and you still wound up getting knocked out, right? Even though you were in the Western Conference Finals. Yes, it's easy to say the Nuggets were better because they were, but the Nuggets aren't sitting here saying, hey, we got 5 or 6 years ago, because you don't know when Jamal Murray's going to be healthy. They looked like they were going to be a championship team in 2020, right? Look at Jamal Murray in the bubble, and then it's taken 3 more years for the Nuggets to get to a point where they could win a title. So many things happen. There's so many variables. You can't sit here and say, we're stacked for the next 3-4 years. No, it is a year-to-year thing. That's why when you see that situation, it is the sense of desperation that you have to win. And when we talked last night to Mark Medina, NBA Insider, he said, look, watching the Eastern Conference Finals, a lot of it is about effort. Right? The Heat have been giving the effort, and the Celtics haven't. They gave no effort in Game 3, and they got killed. They gave all kinds of effort in Game 4, and they wind up sending the series to Game 5. That's what teams sometimes miss, the opportunity that's in front of them, and they think, well, we're building. If we lose, we're down. We're not quite as sharp. We don't play with the desperation. It is year to year. And when I hear a team say, we're set up for the future, I go, you really think you are? You really? Yeah, the sports god, you make plans, and sports gods laugh. Oh, you think when do you see what happens next year? For the Jets, I'm thinking this year. I'm not thinking, hey, the next 3-4 years. I know it's this year, right now. Aaron Rodgers, when he's pissed off at the Packers the most, while he loves the Jets more than I do. It's now. This is it's this year. I don't care about next year. They could stink next year. Breece Hall could still be hurt next year. Who knows what's going to happen? Guys could leave in free agency. Guys could want to get traded. The guys could not move on as rookies or second-year players. It's this year, and I don't see that sense of urgency in the NBA playoffs from a lot of teams. I didn't see it from the Knicks. I didn't see it from the Bucks. I haven't seen it from the Celtics up until this one. Didn't see it from the Lakers in the first couple games of the series. I just didn't see it. And for because you go back and go, well, we're playing with house money. No. This could be the only time you play with house money. I don't see the urgency.
No, that's what I said yesterday. There's no such thing in my world as house money. There is today. There is the opportunity, because if you wanted to do the house money, you would have done nothing at the trade deadline, and happenstance would have gotten you to this point, right? No, you said this is no longer a fit, in stark contrast to what we heard at the beginning of the year, which was they're telling LeBron James he has to stew in it because he wanted Russell Westbrook. Well, guess what? Come the trade deadline, they didn't. They didn't wave a white flag. They went and made a bunch of moves that helped put them in position, add a bunch of injuries, ineffectiveness, and problems across the Western Conference, playing good basketball. The schedule gods smiled at them down the stretch, something that suddenly got conflated into they're the best defense ever. That's what we started here. It's like, all right. And then later on, it's like, well, they played a soft schedule, and weren't ready. It's like, no. You can't have it both ways. Tell me that they're a top top 3 defense, and then later on, well, they were just overmanned by the Nuggets. I mean, come on. No, you made all these moves. You had the basketball gods smile on you, and that LeBron and AD were available the entire stretch run and into the playoffs. You're banking on that again? You're banking on that whatever you're able to construct, that Austin Reeves doesn't get an $80 million contract from someone that you have to suddenly do some really fuzzy math to make things work. We hear all these trade scenarios, whatever, and that's all fine and good. But, just saying you're well positioned. We're going to keep the core together. We joked about it yesterday. Kyle Kuzma saying, yeah, I heard that before. Mm-hmm. I've been there. I've been down that road. You have no idea the way the season's going to go. It is a long damn year. And the second season, the playoffs, are that long as well. So everything bouncing your way. Look at Milwaukee, right? LeBron, we watched Giannis with showing cracks. Normally happy-go-lucky. That failure thing was he wanted to choke that guy out for asking that question. He started to attack him and his family and his livelihood before realizing what his image was getting blown apart. Yeah, they recognize how fleeting it all can be.
As time goes on with sports, I subscribe to the Slim Charles philosophy from The Wire. Okay. When Slim Charles asked him about the history of the streets of Baltimore, because we worked on the streets, of character, everything, and he says, "Ain't no history. There's only the street and the game and what happens here today." And I'm like, when he said that, that reverberated him. It's like, no history. There's the street and the game and what happens here today. And obviously he's talking about, trying to stay alive and,
sure.
and with everything going on in The Wire. But it's sports. Forget about history. There's the game and there's what happens here today. And that's it. And you think tomorrow is guaranteed for your team, for you're going to be great and we're going to go out? No, it's not. We made great plans. Yeah, okay. Let's see what happens. Maybe it just isn't your year the next year. Maybe you're just not as cohesive with it. But so many teams get to the point where I watch them in the playoffs and I go, what the hell is going on here, man? You think the Celtics, it's not our year. Joe Mazzulla's not any good. We lost the first 2 games at home. Yeah. No, I've gotten desperation from the Heat every single game they have played. That's why they're here in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're 1 game away from the NBA Finals. I've gotten the desperation, the grittiness of we're going to go out, we're going to put this away.
That they've had forever. Right?
It's
you buy into the philosophy. I mean, all the big thought pieces on Jimmy Butler come back to one basic element. In almost every stop, with the exception of his time working with Dwayne Wade in Chicago, he had a bunch of guys he didn't agree with their work philosophies. So there were clashes, and now he's in a place where that's the thing where you get the pat on the back of, all right, come in and do your job, right? We'll talk about Belichick and the Patriots maybe working a little harder than they're supposed to.
Wait, no days off, right? No days off. Come on, man.
But it's that type of philosophy. But, to say, hey, you're going to run right back to this spot, just give it time to marinate, not the way it works. A couple of guys also, you think Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura are looking at their basketball careers the same way as they did 2 months ago? Hell no. You got guys that now have, hey, we played on the biggest stage and we performed on the biggest stage. We saved the bacon. Lonnie Walker IV, they can be as humble as they want in an interview in the middle of a series, but come postseason, they want to get paid. They want their minutes. They want their part, and their agents are going to be in their ear telling them all that. Yeah, it's a different animal going next year.